Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Outback, Gamehouse, Lord of the Rings, Heroes of Middle-earth. So we've had a few updates since our last podcast. Chapter 4 has been officially released. We've had our chance at attempting it once, at least. And a few other changes, as well as Rumil being also playable as well. So we'll jump in and talk about the updates that they made. So firstly, the Haradrim characters are now quotation marks farmable. Well, at least
one is.
At least what do we call her? Pavlova? Bekelu?
Bekelu, that's right.
At least Pavlova is farmable. Guild 49, if I'm not mistaken.
Our first guild chapter 4. Guild chapter, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's thank God it's not like 1 to 3. I mean, obviously not as good as chapter 5, but 4 is still pretty decent in terms of not losing out on significant amount of gold and purples that you get from refreshing guild campaigns.
I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. I thought they were going to add it to 2 or 3.
4-7, not 4-9 that I mentioned.
4-7, that's right.
Yeah. I am surprised. I was expecting. I actually wasn't expecting a guild store. But if we were getting a new character to guild, I was expecting 3 because Gimli went to 3 from memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she definitely went into a player-friendly farmable location.
And good timing too with chapter 4 because you're going to need those cleansers so bad.
Yeah. Although I must say, and we'll talk about some of the fixes and improvements in regards Bekelu. Technically they fixed it to how the text is for her ability, that she doesn't cleanse multiple stacks of captured with her serpent stance. That made the team, decent, but it didn't break the team. Like it didn't make them so damn good for chapter 3 on the raid. Like it made them so they were kind of reasonable, but not like top tier. And to be honest, considering they didn't live up to expectations on the chapter 2 that they were sold for, I would have left it because they kind of oversold Haradrim, in my opinion. They didn't quite live up to the expectations that that CG sold us in regards to chapter 2 and how good they would be for chapter 2. I mean, they're decent for chapter 2, but they're missing that focus and some other bits and pieces for them to really
I
do
think
well.
The focus is really the main part, is that focus. I think hopefully with glyphs, and there's like a focus stat that you can put on them, that they will become a much better team.
Glyphs would make them very strong. Like I could see them going from mediocre to very strong with glyphs. But to be honest, I reckon they should have been decent without glyphs. The fact that Isengard can have a better focus and can land debuffs on that troll much better than Haradrim can is kind of saying something. But anyway, the fact that she's gone to Guild 4-7, I agree. That's awesome. That's one of them. One of them very player friendly in regards to farmability. The other one.
We don't talk about that one.
Fuck me. Challenge supplies. I mean, everyone's been complaining about Bolg and Halbarad and how long it's going to take them to get those two, built up, leveled up. And then they add Tibeb into the challenge store.
Not only do they add Tibeb to the store, they make her shards more expensive.
Yeah. Both, so you can buy her for 2 or 5, much like the other two.
Yeah.
But the cost for those is higher than Halbarad and Bolg.
Yeah.
It just literally makes no sense. There's a meme going around 7 years to Tibeb, and far out. I think if you're a new player without any sort of coming in, and that's the only way of getting her, it's going to take you 7 years. It's just ridiculous.
I think they should add some sort of challenge currency to the daily. Just to your daily rewards. And we talked about this a few episodes ago, but do you remember the guild challenges in the beta?
Yeah.
I reckon they should add that into the game and give challenge currency from that.
Yeah. Either the cost of the characters are too high or our income is too low. It's ridiculous. Like we just don't have enough to spend. Like I am only buying Halbrad. I can't. Yeah. I would love to build up Bolg, but you just can't afford more than one character at a time.
Yeah,
you just don't earn enough, and there's no way of earning more.
Yeah. They did come out and say though that they are looking at fixing it. It's going to be a more longer term thing, but they're looking at it at least, which I appreciate, but I feel like if they were going to add a new character to the challenge store, they should have fixed it when they added the character to the store. It's just because now they're getting like backlash of like, oh, well, this isn't fixed, so we just can't farm this character. It would just completely... they wouldn't be getting any backlash for it if they fixed it at the same time. So
exactly, because they knew challenge store was an issue. From the get-go, from launch, everyone has said challenge store is too much of a bottleneck in terms of the currency that we earn. So they knew it was an issue. And then they decided to add a character into that store.
Yeah. They just shot themselves in the foot kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, you're right. Like, they should have, if they released Tibeb and gone, hey, guys, we're giving you more ways of earning the challenge currency.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. 100%.
So, really, they've come out saying ideally probably the takeaway is that they're going to change the way the challenge store currently works, and probably more ways of us gaining the currency. But yeah, that should have been the case before.
Yeah.
There was a few other changes. So there were Webstore changes as well that they spoke about in the last kind of, well, it wasn't really a blog post, it was just an announcement.
Yeah, it was like their weekly update thing, yeah.
So basically with the Webstore, brute shards are now available once per day. I believe you only get 1 shard per day, right?
I think you can get, I believe, up to 5.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've only ever got I think 2 max.
I've only ever gotten 1. I feel gypped.
Because I see people in our guild Discord saying each day, oh, I got 5 shards today, I got 4 shards today, I got 1 shard today. I think I've gone 1, 1, 3, 2 or something like that. Something like that.
Well, that pains me, but I mean, at least once per day you can gain 1 to 5 shards by the sounds of it.
Yes.
Which, I mean, he's a real good character. Like I've invested in him with gems, obviously, and he's a much stronger large character than Ironhide, in my opinion. So it's a slow burn, but at least people can chip away at earning shards for him.
Yeah.
They've also reduced the daily chest to 8 hours, so you can claim it technically 3 times. Yeah, 3 times a day. The only problem is both those chests remain even after you've clicked them, so you don't know whether
claim them or not.
You've claimed them or not. So, like, I return 10 hours later, go to Webstore, and I'm like, have I claimed this? And the only way of knowing is clicking it, and it'll say error. You've already claimed this, and you're just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
But on a positive note, the Webstore does remember you. So it's gotten over its dementia. And it actually does work now where it remembers you for once.
Yes.
But I've heard some people say that it's still not right for them, but I haven't had an issue.
I've had 1 or 2 issues, but yeah, like 9 out of 10 times it remembers me.
I found if it's a device I haven't used in a while, it forgets me.
I just do it on my phone every night when I collect.
I do it on my phone and it's fine. But I jump on my PC and I haven't been on the store on my PC for, say, a few days, and it's forgotten me. So I'm wondering if that's an issue.
I think that's how it is in Star Wars as well. I think if you do it on your phone and then you do it on your PC, you have to remember me on your PC, and then if you do it on your phone again, you have to remember you on your phone.
Right. So it only has the mental capacity to remember you on one device.
It has one brain cell.
I mean, it's an improvement from not remembering you at all. So let's take the win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Raid key. There's raid key changes as well. So the reasoning that they gave was a lot of the casual or lower level guilds have a difficult time maintaining a consistent raid schedule because obviously they've got casual players and those that don't log in as much as active guilds. So to support some of those smaller guilds, what they've done is you're granted a 150 raid key per day as long as one member is active. And then each person is now able to get 5 raid keys from Arena. So each person's daily contribution has gone down from 9 to 5. But then the guild gets a flat 150 raid keys per day. The time that raid key drops, I'm still unsure. I would have thought it was with server reset when the calendar kind of resets, but it doesn't seem to be that.
Yeah, I know that it's 6 p.m. for us on Star Wars, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same here. Or 6:30. It's like they have their own guild reset time for some reason.
Yeah, it's just so confusing. Like, just create different. It's like they don't want things to clock over at the same time. Like, why would you do that? Just create 10 different times for things to change. Confuse the player base.
It's weird.
It is very weird. So yeah, the raid keys have been removed from the other daily objectives. I've now forgot which the other 2 were, but it's just arena daily objectives that now grant it. So if you do have an active guild, technically the keys per day has gone up from 324 to now 330 keys per day, which I mean makes it that we technically in the long run start raids quicker each time.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing, and it also helps the casual guilds as well. So I'm generally fine with that.
I think the only thing I'd have a gripe about it with is which isn't really a problem with the keys, more just a problem with the timer, but swapping guilds. That makes it so much harder. Oh my god. That's true pain.
It's I understand they're trying to fix the problem of guild hoppers and people that are murking, but I think they've gone too heavy in the surely 3 days is enough to stop anyone from murking. Like
even 4, because 4's how long the raid's going to go for anyway.
Yeah, but it's not like from the start of raid. It's from when you finish raid, right? So it's like 6 days from when you finish chapter 4 as it stands. You're able to join the next guild. So you there is no way to avoid it but to skip a raid.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It just makes it hard for the legitimate players. I'm sure there's another way around it. I like obviously you guys in Star Wars Galaxy of Hero don't do seasons, but I feel like having the seasons that MSF had kind of alleviated that because everything ends on the raid season ends on a particular day. All the changeover happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that was even a thing when I was still playing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that model was good. Maybe they adopt something similar. I'm not sure, but it just makes it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just painful at the moment.
It's like, especially when there's so much Gandalf shards on offer, missing 1 week sets you back. It's just like most people are gonna avoid moving because of that reason.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do with that, but something needs to be done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There were a few fixes and improvements. So we spoke about Bekelu's Serpent Stance, but they finally fixed Elrohir's retaliation, that slow motion retaliation where you would see like the pixel move across the screen.
I love that. That was funny.
It's finally. It's even funnier when you have 2 people taunting because he does it twice.
Yeah.
Like he does one, and you're like, oh my god. Then he goes again, you're like, oh shit. But
time to go make a coffee.
They finally fixed that. Gimli's Son of Gloin is now triggering properly, so all those Dwarf fans out there, another fix for the.
They're actually playable.
Yeah. So he's now granting his effects to Fellowship and Dwarf allies. There was a fix to Shadow 1-9 where the battle would end prematurely if Irma's summoned ally was defeated. I never came across that, but that's now fixed. Denethor's character screen now correctly lists his leader tag. Addressed an issue where the arena supply store was not resetting at the time intended. It now resets 6 p.m. local player time. Fixed an issue where duplicate supplies were being displayed in the main tab of the supply store. Resolved an issue in the web store where some offer text was overlapping with one another. Fixed an issue in the web store causing browsers to end sessions early. and then various other improvements. So not huge changes. I think the big ones were Gimli and also Bekelu.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, so since our last podcast, so we had Balin that was in the game. We've now got Rumil, who's now playable. So people were able to do his marquee event. Orophin,
that doesn't taunt.
a tank that doesn't taunt. Orophin isn't out yet, but he'll be out in a couple of days at the time of this recording. Now, Rumil's marquee event made me super impressed with the brothers. Like Rumil having another person that cleanses, in addition to Balin's two, like Balin has cleanse on his second special and his basic.
Yeah.
Now you've got another player in the team that now cleanses as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I was really impressed. And then Orophin was like,
Orophin was hitting like a truck.
he was wrecking things.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just like buffed up for the event.
I mean, it could be. He's probably a 7-star.
Yeah.
G10.
Yeah.
Orophin, but still,
he was hitting hard.
He was doing so much damage.
I really like the animations for him as well, how he like jumps and leaps down on top of them. It feels really impactful.
Yeah, both are special. He just leaps in the air. Like, the guy loves doing a big leap attack.
Dude's just on a trampoline constantly.
Why bother running when you can just leap?
It's like a fucking kangaroo.
He's attacking from above every single day.
Oh, yeah. He was good, yeah.
But, I mean, his first special, he attacks the target enemy, I think, twice and he gains advantage during it. And then that second special, that's the one that does significant damage.
Yep.
And I think so from memory reading his kit, it does more damage the more health that the enemy has in comparison to Orophin.
I believe so, yeah.
So in some cases, he was just, I remember because I did the final tier 6 on the event, and he was just one-shotting people off the gate. Like if he was hit first, so on his first turn, he would just come out and just nuke someone.
Not bad.
I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I can see this team being great across all the chapters.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Rumil on his second special has the assist, so he calls an assist for a dwarf or elf ally.
Yep.
So that's great for the bomber in chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then chapter 2, I mean, they've got the cleanse that helps. Yeah. You got Orophin that is just going to wreck the troll when you've got,
and he's got the higher crit chance as well.
Right.
In his abilities. So
he does crits as well, which helps. And then chapter 3 again, you got 3 cleanse options for that team. So that's going to go well. You don't really have any taunter. I mean, you've got like we mentioned, we've got a tank that doesn't provoke or taunt, but as long as they're cleansing, it doesn't really matter who gains the capture mark in chapter 3. And then obviously they're built for chapter 4. So you can kind of see this team is built for this raid.
Yeah, definitely. I actually really like the way that they've done that, because like they're all what if characters. So
yeah. So yeah, you've got this what if kind of shattered universe that does well against for this raid, but then you've also got the long burn once you finally get Gandalf, and that fellowship team is also set up to do well for each chapter as well. So in the long run, those, the Fellowship and Balin's Expedition are going to be two strong teams to kind of aim for, in my opinion, for this Mines of Moria raid.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if they add another 2 for the team or if they're going to leave it open-ended.
Yeah. I mean, a few people were curious whether the third brother, the more famous brother, was going to appear, because in the kind of blog posts they kind of talk about what's his name,
Haldir. Yeah
Haldir. I think that's just a bit of lore referencing. I don't think he'll be in this team.
I think he'll be with the Lorien elves, to be honest. It just makes more sense.
It does. Like, I don't think he'll be in this shattered timeline team.
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to leave it as a 3-man team, and they'll probably fill the other 2 slots at a later time, or just forever leave it as a 3-man team. Because the way each of their kits are set up, you can chuck in any elf or dwarf, and they all synergize.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
Both factions.
Who do you think would be like the best synergy with them would be?
In my opinion, I think it varies chapter to chapter, but overall speaking, I think running the Fellowship duo with them is still probably your best option if you just wanted a safe kind of 5 to go for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see in some situations where Biffa would be useful. I can see in some situations where you could run a majority elf, Balin and 4 elves, add Legolas, Lumion, kind of mix. It's
Naramiri and Lelil, even more cleansing.
Yeah. If Rivendell can hold their own without Naramiri, you could easily add Naramiri. You're right, and you get a third cleanser, and that could be pretty strong as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's flexibility there, and I like that. I like that you're not locked into one particular, 2 particular plugins for that team. I think you can reasonably mix and match and do decently. You could even add Killy Philly.
I was just about to say that, Killy and Philly. I think probably Legolas and Gimli, probably the best at the moment until they get their own team, the whole Fellowship team together. And probably slot in Killy and Philly, or maybe like Bearfire and Fro, something like that.
Yeah.
Or even Fro and Naramiri.
Yeah.
So you actually have like a proper tank and a decent healer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely tons of options.
Oh, there's I think that's probably where they're going to go with that team. Leave it kind of open for people to kind of choose their own 2 to slot in.
Yeah.
Rather than being locked into a particular 5.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. The other thing we were able to get our hands on was Chapter 4 itself. So We were able to launch that on the day of release last week.
Yep.
Boy,
yeah,
that thing was a bloody nuisance. Like, if you think the troll was hard, this thing was much more difficult.
Yes.
In saying that, I think the RNG was much less than the troll. I just think he just wrecks.
Hits hard. Yeah.
He just destroys.
Yeah.
I personally found chapter 2 pointless. Like, I found you either do chapter 1 or you jump to chapter 3 because he was just hitting so hard, and the gains you make in chapter 2 were very minimal. Where if I could just survive enough in chapter 3, I could probably make, 200k, close to 300k in chapter 3. Whereas in chapter 2, I found I wasn't even making 100k with my teams. I was just struggling big time.
Yeah.
But playing in chapter 1 was kind of fun. You can kind of see what you can kind of aim for in the fact that when you topple him, each turn you take, he heals for 25%.
Yeah.
And
do you mean chapter 2?
Hey?
Do you mean chapter 2?
Chapter 4. Sorry,
right.
Have I been saying chapter?
You said chapter 1. You're doing what I did.
Let me start again. So chapter 4,
yeah.
I found difficulty 2 was much more, I didn't even attempt anything in difficulty 2. I just found it, the kind of, the difficulty to point gain was just not right there. It was just a struggle. I either went to difficulty 3 and, survived enough that I could score,
just over 300k. Yeah.
Well, no, not even that. Like 150 to 250k. Like, they weren't difficulty 3 teams, but just enough RNG that I could survive enough to score half decent points, like more than the difficulty 1 cap at 100k. Yeah. Whereas when I tried them in difficulty 2, he was just hitting so hard and I wasn't gaining enough points.
Right, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
That I couldn't make even 100k.
I felt the same, yeah.
So I either did difficulty 1 or, I tried my luck in difficulty 3, and anything above 100k, which is more than what I would earn in difficulty 1, yeah, I banked. Yeah, I just found difficulty 2 was just in a weird spot that it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of difficulty 1, I found it was good, even with my stronger teams, to kind of see the mechanics. So when you do topple him, or whatever the terminology is for the for Balrog in chapter 4, each turn you take, he heals and he gains turn meter, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of see if you're doing decent damage each turn, he doesn't actually, you can kind of topple him again straight away.
Yeah.
If you're not doing enough damage, basically it gets back to pretty much full health, and then you got to do it all over again. So you can kind of see in the long run, when your teams are much stronger, you can topple him and then you can keep him toppled.
Toppled, yeah.
And that's how you'll get 900k or in difficulty 3, or 300k in difficulty 2.
Yeah.
So you can, he hits much harder, and he's quite tanky. You don't score as much, but you can see the possibility as you improve, you can kind of do better. There is a bit of RNG where I think it's better to get him into flame form than it is into shadow form, in my opinion. I think that unless you've got teams that got eagle eye and can kind of still hit him while blind, I think you can do well. The only thing with the shadow form is he does the one-shot KO.
Yes.
He just annihilates someone.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I kind of prefer the flame form, because whilst he wrecks most of your full squad, because he does an AoE, in flame form it's more AoE, whereas in shadow form it's more single target,
Yeah.
right? As long as you got good healers, you can kind of heal back up and keep going. Whereas that one shot KO,
Yeah.
unless you got Rivendell team, there's no way of coming back from that.
Yeah.
And I am curious how this Balin's expedition team is going to fare, because you need him to nuke Balin, because Balin's got the
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 revive.
last stand or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So, and he doesn't have a taunt on him, so I think that seems to be a bit of an RNG play. You just got to pray that he's going to go after Balin.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely a big, very heavy entry into that.
Yes.
And I'm fine with that, because it's the final chapter for a raid. If it was a breeze, it would kind of make the whole raid fall flat.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not, in general, I haven't seen people scoring decent amount of points on this chapter in comparison to other chapters. But it's something for the long run, especially once we get glyphs as well.
Yeah, for sure. Glyphs, I'm interested to see how much glyphs make an interest, if you can just stack resistance and just resist all the debuffs. That'd be funny. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt you'll just be able to cheese it like that, but it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, well, resistance would be a good mod. I think damage as well. Like, as long as you don't die, it's really it's really about toppling him and then keeping him toppled.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, if you just do pure damage on him,
and
I think you could probably I think you could probably overcome him.
Yeah.
And Orophin's going to be a beast for that.
Yeah. I'm excited for Orophin.
Yeah, he's a couple of days away, so I'm looking forward to him. There is the Hobbit pack that was in the game. So some people got the bundle, and some people didn't.
Yes,
it seems to be a bit of A/B testing. Is my feeling on this. But they've come out saying they've, obviously a lot of people are like, I don't really understand the point of A/B testing in a day and age where people can openly communicate and go, hey, I got this offer. Back in the, back before people weren't using Discord or any sort of communication stuff, you could probably get away with A/B testing, because the wider community probably wouldn't be aware that an offer existed, But in the current day and age, it's just open. Like, everyone knows. So I don't see it's detrimental doing that kind of stuff. But anyway, so they've heard the feedback, and obviously the players' feelings on it. So they say the rollout didn't go as smoothly as intended, and that's recognized. So they're brainstorming ideas on solutions, as well as ways to even things out for people who didn't receive that Hobbit offer. Again, it's going to take them time to nail down a solution. But yeah, like, I was one of those people that didn't get the offer.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But since then, I've got my Hobbits to 7 stars, so I'm just like, the hell.
Yeah.
So
you watch, as soon as I get my Hobbits to 7 star, I'll see the offer. I'm just gonna be like, shit.
Well, I think if you get characters to 7 stars, I don't think you see the offers.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So we'll be none the wiser. But yeah, there was plenty of Hobbit offers. Like this was just one offer that they spoke about, but throughout since launch, there's been a few Hobbit offers that I've missed out on. There was a introductory Hobbit offer. There was two. There was one for like $10, and there was one for $20, which had 100 shards each. I never got that 100 shards each offer.
Yeah.
Then there was offers at different milestones, like progression, like when you were 50 shards away from
6
stars.
Yeah.
You got an offer to kind of get them to 6 stars. And then when you were 100 shards away from 7 stars, you got another offer. And some people got that on all the Hobbits. I got that for, I believe, Merry, but I never got it for Frodo. I never got it for Pippin.
I got it for Frodo. I don't think I got it for Merry.
Right.
But that was also 6 star. I think you got the 7 star one.
I got I finished Frodo the long way, but my Merry was lagging, and I got him to 200, and then the offer popped up, and I was just like, oh, sweet. I finally get the offer, and it was for the guy that I'm severely lagging behind. So I bought the offer, finished them to 7 star, and I was like, thank God. And they're pretty good. To be honest, as much as the community bagged them initially, they're probably the best free-to-play team.
Yeah.
That I would recommend for new players, to be honest.
Yeah.
Rohan are up there. I mean, they're probably just as equally good. But the fact that you can hard farm 2 characters, you get one for free through the dailies. The other one, as long as you level up the others, you get him.
Yeah.
One's on a guild store, which is super easy. So it's only really 2 hard farms.
Yeah. I think it's just Road to Rivendell's the easier farm technically than Rohan. And especially since Rohan, you really don't use the full team.
Well, when people say
the full team.
When people say Rohan, it's just
the trio.
It's the trio. It's the cousins. Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Rohan, I believe, in comparison to RTR, is they're not as ability heavy.
Definitely, yeah.
Like I've still got to spend quite a few. To be honest, when I look at it, it's probably easier to say which abilities I shouldn't take to 6, and I think that's probably 2, maybe 3.
Yeah,
across the full.
Honestly, yeah.
I
mean, like even the basic for Sam, you got to take that to 6 just because he retaliates so much. It's like it's just so impactful.
Yeah. Plus, he adds a fortitude, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the more I started with like, oh yeah, I could keep that at 4. Oh, maybe I'll take it to 5. Oh yeah, I should probably take it to 6. And that's just pretty much been my experience with the Hobbits.
Yeah, they're super greedy on the abilities. But yeah, I've been like since building them up. I've been enjoying them on the various chapters. Haven't tried them on chapter 3 yet. Chapter 3 and 4, I've heard they do struggle. Chapter 3, you kind of got to play around with who gets hit with the capture and kind of juggle that a bit.
It took a bit of RNG for me today, but I got a 300k increase today with my Road to Gryffindor.
Nice, nice.
It's pretty happy with that.
Yeah. And then chapter 4 obviously I'll have to try again since building them up to 7 stars. But I found that in our first attempt with chapter 4, I kind of struggled a bit,
Yeah.
like quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah. I think it's just because they're so squishy.
But, Gondor struggled big time.
Interesting.
And kind of disappointed in that because the way their whole mechanics work, when they block, they gain immunity, right? But it doesn't stop them from gaining the debuff at the same time. So, like, say Balrog hits them, he puts bleed on them, say they block. They've got the bleed or they got the blind, but they've got immunity as well. And then they don't really have a cleanser as well.
Right. So it's like, yeah, okay. It's the order of operations then, yeah.
Well, when they drop below 50%, I think they get a cleanse, but they don't have an ability that cleanses, right?
Yeah.
So a few teams do struggle in chapter 4.
Yeah. As expected, the only really good team that we have for it at the moment is the Elves, and that's partly is because mainly so many people have their Elves built up.
But I think that just all around they've got a solid.
Yeah. And just the revive as well. Yeah.
It's hard to get past that revive.
Yeah.
But you got Arwen that cleanses. You've got a character in that team that does a bit of like that, offers something. You got a cleanser. You got a guy that can taunt for days. A damage dealer. You add Naramiri, you get another cleanser. It's just a solid team, to be honest. But it's our only legendary base team, so it's to be expected. But Balin's expedition, I can see doing very well as well. So that's why I want to definitely build them up, because I think that'll give me a solid team across all the chapters as well. Because at the moment, I think apart from Rivendell, most of the other teams are good for 2 or 3 chapters, or maybe even just 1. So I want another second team that actually is solid across each of the chapters.
Road to Rivendell's like that. They're pretty good across all the chapters. Maybe not 3 as much, but 1 and 2, they're definitely.
Yeah, but not 4.
Not 4, true. Yeah.
So that's 2 chapters.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like most of the teams are only good for 2 chapters.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Whereas Rivendell is solid across all 4.
Yeah.
And I think Balin's expedition will be that other team. That's why I'm keen to build them up. And then obviously that'll give me 2 teams across all chapters, and then I can mix and match the other 3 teams according to the chapter.
Yeah.
So that's my plan long term. There was also a surprise notification that CG mistakenly, I believe it was on the day of chapter 4 release.
Yeah. Someone got fired that day.
Where someone pressed all the buttons. So what is this? Which one's the chapter 4 release button?
Just all the buttons.
Is it this one? And that was the Black Beast announcement notification. So basically the announcement was Black Beast is going away, create a strong squad, strong Dol Guldur squad with Charu, Rekha, and the Black Beast. So this Nazgul's adventure is leaving soon. Don't miss it.
I love how it's got spades, the Black Beast.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
So, they talk about adventure, and we know from the data mines that his event is meant to be similar to Sam, which is also called an adventure in game.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. They talk about They talk about a strong Dolgadur squad.
So it's weird because they've said that they want to, if they were going to do, I don't remember if they said that if they're going to do another Sam type event, if they're going to rework it, or if they're just not going to do another one like that. And then they have this. It's, yeah.
Well, they didn't say they weren't going to do another one.
I'm pretty sure they said they would like to rework it. And
they said they would like
that as they're not going to do it.
people yeah, I love that how people just fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
To how they,
because that's what I've seen consistently over Discord is like, oh no, they said they were never going to do that again. I'm just like, I don't remember them saying that.
No, they like, I don't remember verbatim what he said.
Yeah.
But essentially they just said they were going to re-look how they do it.
Yeah, and so you could get the character faster because from looking at Sam, they would like you to get Sam a bit faster than what you could now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure that's what they said.
Either way, they didn't say they were abolishing the whole adventure system.
Yeah.
It's not going to look, or it's not going to be the same exact as what Sam is, but that doesn't mean it could be a different iteration of a Sam type adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm curious. What piqued my interest wasn't so much the adventure; it was more the squad.
Yeah, so if we're going off that, it does sound like they're going to be giving each Nazgul their own team, and it'll kind of be like Apocalypse, where.
That's what I was saying.
Rangers and all that. Yeah. Power Rangers Unite or whatever. I've never seen Power Rangers. I don't know what their catchphrase is, but you get what I mean.
Pretty sure it's not Power Rangers Unite. But...
Yeah. It is now.
Yeah, so I am not familiar with this Charu and Rekka. Don't believe they're huge in the books. Maybe they were in the Hobbit book. I'm not sure.
Nor am I.
But yeah, it definitely does sound like a separate squad for each Nazgul. That's how it's kind of sounding like they're going to do. But that's in line with the comment that Nick made, Nick Reinhardt, in the sense that they wanted to give. They're not going to release all the Nazguls at once. They kind of wanted to give each one
their own spotlight.
Yeah, their own spotlight.
Which makes sense. Yeah. I wonder then if the Witch King is going to be their first galactic legend type of character.
Could be.
And if they're going to do it that early in the game, I mean, still could be a year off, but that's early in the game.
I see him coming after all the other Nazguls are out, to be honest. So we're probably a year away from him.
Yeah, easily. But what I'm saying is they didn't have
Galactic Legends. But
at the start of Star Wars, yeah.
But the thing is, with Home, is that they know the path that they took for Star Wars Galaxy of Hero. So whereas Star Wars Galaxy of Hero was doing everything for the first time, they were discovering, they were going, oh, maybe we should do this, and then doing it. Whereas with this game, they can go, oh, there's Galactic Legends type legendaries we can release. They have like the path open for them, and now they can pick and choose what they want.
Well, that's what I mean, because like Galactic Legends, they're their own type. They have their own meta type of thing. They're so powerful that they're just.
I've said this before. Witch King and Gandalf the White need to be at that level.
Yeah, and that's another thing. when they first started releasing Galactic Legends in Star Wars, they released them in pairs. So you had I believe the first one was Kylo Ren and then Rey.
Right.
I think. And I think the second one was Jedi Master Luke, which was episode 8 Luke and episode 8 Emperor.
Right.
And they pretty much released them at the same time. So they always came in pairs. They don't do that anymore, but I wonder if they're going to do the same thing here.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Or it could be completely wrong.
I'm still curious who the next legendary would be. Still thinking it might be Thorin.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Not sure. Yeah, they said someone from The Hobbit, but they didn't. Everyone's kind of taking because it's dwarves that it will unlock a dwarf. Not necessarily.
I don't think dwarves will unlock Thorin, to be honest. I know they did that with
elves, yeah.
Elves and Elrond. I think it'll be a different faction. A related thing, maybe, I don't know, the goblins. I'm not sure if that's...
Maybe. Oh, God. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Because can you even get
5 goblins? Yeah, you can get 5 goblins.
I mean, the Great Goblin. Is there 5 goblins and the Great Goblin, or is the Great Goblin part of the 5 goblins?
The Great Goblin's part of the 5.
Well, then she's not farmable.
Yes.
True.
Your point.
But I mean, I don't even think you can get it with gems, can you? Or can you?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
What do you mean?
When I said she's not farmable, I mean you can't actually even buy her from anything, can you?
Oh, you can get it from the main store using gems.
Okay. Then yeah, probably, maybe. Yeah.
How have you been? How do you think she's been farmable?
I didn't.
You thought she was an unobtainable character this whole time?
I mean, Eldred is.
No, he's in the gem store. He's in the main store for gems.
Where have I been? Maybe I just didn't care because he's just not great.
He's not great. I would not waste gems on Eldred, but they both are 5 for 150. I can't quite remember what their 10 shard cost is, but yeah, they're both there.
Probably 300 then.
I just turned on the game and yeah, she's sitting there in the main store.
Okay.
5 for 150.
So I'm just dumb. That's nothing new.
But yeah, you've got the Great Goblin, Orphers, Golbers, Grimper, and Chef. Beskar. So they're the 5. Chef Ramsay. Speaking of goblins, a lot of the Krakens have actually come out and said that goblins probably the second best raid team currently.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they've got AoE, which bodes well for Chapter 1. They're fast, which bodes well for Chapter 3. Plus, they've got the summons, which gives them an extra potential turn and stuff like that. Chapter 2, they deal a lot of debuffs, and they can do well against the troll. Chapter 4, they struggle, but
everyone struggles.
Apart from Balin's expedition, which is just starting to come out, I don't think there's another team that does well across, that many chapters.
That's interesting.
But in saying that, I do not feel like farming or Great Goblin and the Goblins, they're just so far behind the 8 ball for me.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, speaking of our updates in terms of what we've been doing, my hobbits are now 7 stars, so I can stop farming them. I'm still farming Haradrim, even though I'm pissed off with Tibeb. But yeah, I'm kind of farming the 3 Haradrim and the 2 Gondor characters. So they're my 5 farms daily at the moment. I'm not really hard refreshing any of them because I'm in no rush. So that's me for now. I think even though my RTR is 7 stars, I still need to get them to 60 and then also need to finish off their abilities. Also got to finish off Haradrim's abilities as well. But I'm in 2 minds whether to just pause on both of them and just go heavy on Balin's Expedition. So I kind of haven't spent any ability mats for a week now. And I think I want to just finish off the 3 Balin Expedition characters. And it's only 3, so I can kind of easily get them to high ability levels.
Yeah.
I'm not spending on 5 characters. So
yeah.
And I think they'd be good enough to carry 2 other plugins as well. That's my hope. So I think I'm probably going to pivot and finish off Balin's Expedition and then come back to probably RTR. And who knows, there's probably going to be a new team by then. So
yeah. Pretty much, yeah. I kind of in the same boat, to be honest. I invested gear into Haradrim early.
So they were the only shadow team, so gear isn't too bad. If it was a light team, then it's a bit painful.
Well, it's just like I'm going to be mad if I don't take them up because I've invested gear into them.
Oh, that OCD.
Yes. No, it's not even OCD. It's just like it's wasted resources.
Is it though? I mean, gear, to be honest, isn't so bad. It's more the light and shadow crystals.
That when I say gear, I mean that really.
Yeah, and shadow crystals.
Still got them in plenty. Yeah.
Like I feel like my Haradrim are all G8.
Yeah.
And I'm still sitting on so much shadow. I haven't felt bad about getting them to G8, mainly because it was so easy to get to G8.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like each light release, say like Balin's Expedition, I've got them to G7 and I've run out of luminous crystals. If it was a light team, then I'd feel pain because there's been so much light characters. It's a slow burn getting them up to G8.
Yeah, as I said, I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. I'm in 2 minds if I want a hard pivot or not, or just finish my RTR abilities. Regardless, I'm going to gear Balin's Expedition because like I'm not gearing my Road to Rivendell or Gear 8. It's a question of do I want to stop investing ability materials into my hobbits and put them into Balin's Expedition.
Yeah.
On top of that, I haven't leveled up Legolas and Gimli, so I would be doing them as well.
Right.
Yeah, so it's basically a whole team. So I'm like, do I just finish off Road to Rivendell first and then hard swap?
See, this is where I think Balin's Expedition, whilst your endgame might be Balin's Expedition plus Fellowship, you could do Balin's Expedition, chuck in Lumion, chuck in Naramiri.
That's true.
And still do well. Like you don't need to build the 5 at the get-go. You could do the 3,
Yeah,
throw in another 2 in the meantime, whilst you then build
the
Legolas
last
and
2.
Gimli in the
Yeah,
background.
yeah.
But I mean, I guess with the hobbits, like you're almost there, to be honest.
I think
I'm behind in comparison to you, but if you're getting to a stage, I'd probably just, if you're getting to a stage where you're actually scoring well, I don't know if you're hitting 900k yet.
in chapter 1 I am pretty easily.
Yeah, so you're getting 900k there. I know Moani from our guild gets like 800k in chapter 2.
Yeah.
And about 500k in chapter 3.
600. I think
600.
I think he got 900k in chapter 3 a few weeks ago, but he was saying this week he was only able to get like 600.
Yeah, but like when I played with them in chapter 3, it's a lot of RNG. Like you gotta hope that, say Frodo gets the mark and then he does his invisible, removes the mark. You don't want Sam to taunt because then there's no way of removing it from him.
Yeah.
And same with Strider.
Chucking on like Merry or Pippin because then they get the immunity as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That is so helpful. Oh my god.
Yeah. And you don't want Strider. Strider's like your last resort. Yeah. And basically when they're all struggling, he puts them in stealth and then he gets it on himself. And I can kind of see how they do well, but it's a lot of juggling.
It is.
No easy way.
And especially with Skull Crusher, like his slow can really fuck that team over.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so I'm not quite there on chapter 1. I think once I can nuke Skull Crusher before his turn, I think it becomes a lot smoother.
That's what I can do. Yeah.
So I'm not quite there yet. But yeah.
It takes a bit of RNG because I need I think 1 or 2 crits. I don't actually have enough damage to do it without crits. But if I just hard focus him, then I am able to do it usually.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got Mary's basic to level 6.
Neither have I.
But I find if he does do his assist, obviously if I can get it to level 6, it's a guaranteed assist. I can then, I'm close to taking him down without any crits.
Yeah.
So I think my Strider SP1 is only level 4.
Mine is, yeah.
So I think if I can get him to be honest, it's even 5. So Mary's basic to 6 and Strider's to 5 is probably just enough damage increase.
Sorry, did you say Merry or Pippin earlier?
Mary's basic.
Mary,
Mary's basic does a guaranteed assist.
I've got that at 6, yeah. I thought you said Pippin for some reason.
No. Mine's at 4 at the moment.
Yeah.
So sometimes it assists, sometimes it doesn't.
All the assists on that team so immensely helpful. Just if you have Mary's marked at level 6 and then
he does a 2 assist.
Yeah, he does 2 assists and he applies a debuff, so that's another thing.
Yeah, it's a 3 stack.
Yeah, and then you just go with like Frodo, basic stack with him, and it's done.
Yeah,
you've got the bomber in 2 turns. It's so easy.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I just need to get it up. But in terms of getting the Skull Crusher down, I reckon if I can get Mary's basic to 6, Strider's SP1 to 5, that's enough damage that I'm missing to get him consistently down before his turn. The only other option really would be to increase one of the other basics, like Sam's basic, because he also takes a turn, or Pippin's basic, because he takes a turn, plus he will assist Merry as well.
Yeah. I'm seeing more and more value in taking Sam's special 2 to level 6 for the extra bit of healing, just because.
The apple throw?
Yeah. I'm just seeing more and more value in it. Yeah, just the more I've used Sam, like I I can just see how that extra little bit of healing would just be like just enough.
Especially if you get the SP1 up, he's going to be taunting more.
Yeah, well, exactly. Mine's level 6.
Yeah. So you want him to heal more as well.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, even though the team is very investment heavy, they all just gel really well. It's quite fun to use.
It is a fun team. That's my main enjoyment from them is they're just fun to play with, to be honest. So and I like them for that.
But yeah, I don't know if I want to finish my Haradrim shards or not. I feel like I probably should, but yeah, just
I am not, like I've got Halbrad to 6-star as of today, and whilst it's still going to take a while to get him to 7-star, I think it's just better off continuing until they fix whatever the Tibeb's challenge door situation is. I'm just not going to build her at all, especially for her cost, which is even more than Halbrad.
If I stopped her Haradrim farm, the shard farming, I guess I could finish off Isengard, start working on them.
The way I see it, I mean, getting a 7-star, everyone apart from Tibeb will still make the team decent.
Yeah.
Just she's the healer.
Yeah.
I would really like her to heal more.
Yeah. She's like the main factor, but nah, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I mean, they still do well. I think they're my second highest Chapter 2 team, even though they're a bit of a struggle sometimes, but I can see them, like they do well. And once I get their level 6 abilities, get those crits going better, I can see them, doing well in Chapter 2 and even Chapter 1.
Yeah.
And even Chapter 3, actually. I throw in Eothane, chuck out Yef2, and get that extra turn meter. Plus, he gives an extra taunt as well. So they do well. And like we mentioned, I think with glyphs, they're going to be superb.
Yeah.
But I think we've covered quite a bit this episode, unless we've missed anything that you know of.
Don't think so.
No. So next episode, we'll obviously get our hands on Orophin as well. I'm excited to see how that team gels once I get all 3 of them going. And then, we'll have to see what the future is, because I guess next in line is glyphs, and then probably PvP as well. So hopefully we get a bit more information on those 2.
Cool.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, please leave your comments. Hit a like if you like this episode. Otherwise, we will catch you guys next time.